Hey guys, so I uploaded that video yesterday and I said to myself, oh no, I forgot to show them the eyeshadow palettes from the new Wet n Wild Crystal Cavern collection. So that's why I'm back today, because they're really pretty and I wanted to show them to you. I got them at a Christmas tree shop, which is a discount store that sometimes has a Harmon Face Values drugstore inside of it. They don't all, but this particular one that I shop at does. If you don't have one of those stores near you, this collection has also been spotted at CVS, and it should be coming on to the Wet n Wild website soon, I would imagine. Okay, so there's 4 palettes, and they all come in this triangular shape. They're eyeshadow trios. This first one is called Jade, and it may not appear that way on camera, but this is actually 3 shades of green. I know it doesn't look like that, but the one on top that looks like a white is like the lightest green you've ever seen in your life, and it has like a glow to it. All the eyeshadow finishes on these palettes, they're all different. So a little something for everybody. And so that's a super light green on the top there. Then you've got your typical khaki olive green on the bottom there in the corner. And then the other shade is like a super dark green. But what perplexes me is this palette is called Jade, and none of these shades are the color of Jade. I hate it when brands do that. Okay, now I've said in the past that I like to show you swatches over a primer, but that didn't end up being the best way to go, because depending on what eyeshadow primer you use, you can get a totally different result. So I'm just going to show you bare, swatches without a primer. So those are the 3 shades swatched. Now what you'll notice is that the lightest one and the darkest one shows up great, and then the olivey colored one doesn't really show up at all. So you do get some pigmentation issues with some of the shadows in these palettes, but they're such beautiful colors in all these palettes that I feel like it's kind of worth it to just build it up. So, and then this is when I take the swatches and swipe them. Now obviously the darkest one is the only one that you'll be able to see on my skin, because the lightest one that's like a glowy light green just blends right in with my skin tone. So that's not showing up on camera, but if you were here in the room with me, you probably would be able to see that one. But yeah, that olivey khaki green shade needs some help. But, this is bare skin, so with a primer, it will be easier to show up, have it show up, and build it up. And by the way, I am wearing one of these palettes today, and I'll point that out when I get to that one. And I used MAC Painterly Paint Pot as my eyeshadow primer. This will need to be recycled soon because it's getting kind of old, so then I'll be switching to that primer that I showed you in yesterday's video that I really liked, that was only $1. Okay, next is Rose Quartz. This color scheme has been popular with so many brands over the last year. So you get a light glittery pink, you get a matte pink, and then you get this other glittery pink that's more of a warmer tone than this one right here. You can wear all 3 of these together, but this tone to me doesn't really suit the other 2. So I like to put this all over the eye area when I wear it, and then put this on the lid. Sometimes I do dab a little bit of this in the center of the lid, but not usually. I really feel like the best way to wear this is to maybe bring in an eyeshadow from another palette, because yeah, the color scheme is kind of, I don't know, different. So let me try to swatch this for you. Now that one that's the different texture, it almost has a coppery look to it. It's so warm compared to the other two. See? And you can really tell when it's swatched on my skin how warm that other one is. So I know the lightest one isn't really showing up that well. The lighter glittery one isn't showing up that well because of the color of my skin, but the mauvey type matte pink is pretty pigmented. One thing you need to know about these shadows is they've got a lot of moisture to them. So you definitely want to use an eyeshadow primer. And what I do when I use these is I put my eyeshadow primer on, and then I even dust a little bit of loose, translucent, or light colored powder on top of that, because otherwise you could get some creasing later on in the day, which is not usually an issue for me because I don't have oily skin. But yeah, there's some kind of ingredient in these shadows that have got some slip to them, but it doesn't really show up when you're applying it. You don't notice it till later in the day. That's been my experience. Okay, this next one is called Amethyst, and really, really pretty purples. And again, they went with a little bit of a variation in the tones here. Like these ones on the bottom are really cool toned purples. And then the other one on the top has got a little bit more warmth to it. But I wouldn't call it a warm shadow, but it's more of like a neutrally tone. But those two on the bottom, oh my god, I love those so much. I've worn this palette a lot. And again, you know, the texture is very different. The darkest one has got a lot of glitter to it, and then the other two are more of like a satin. And I know they're not swatching that well on my fingers, but you can definitely build them up. And if you wear them, of course, on an eyeshadow primer, they're going to look different over an eyeshadow primer. So really, those are such pretty purples. I noticed that a lot of companies, when they do purples, they tend to go for the warmer purples. So it's nice to see some pretty cool ones. And then last but certainly not least, this last palette is called Clear Quartz. And this is the one that I'm wearing. And what it is on the top there, that's a super light peach. And I have that as my brow bone highlight. And then on the bottom is a very smooth silver. That's what I have on my lids. And then the third color is like a light taupey, brownish taupe, I would say. And I have that in the crease and then a little bit on the outside part of my lids. Now, I wouldn't usually use a shimmery shadow in the crease, but I like this combination together. And I would not normally use these three shades together ever, but I wanted to try it when I first got the palette, and I have never looked back. I've used just this combo several times. This eyeshadow look is very subtle. These shades are very light. Let me show you the swatches. So see that they're very, very light. This one here is the peach, the real chunky, frosty one. Yeah, see, with no eyeshadow primer, they're not really showing up that well. But yeah, I like this combination together. Now, what I feel like this palette is really good for is when you want to do a bold lipstick and you just want something subtle on your eyes. It gives it a nice balance. So that's how I like to usually do this. But I mean, you can do whatever shade lipstick you want, obviously. But this is really pretty. But if your skin color is any deeper than mine, I don't know that this is really gonna show up on you. So just keep that in mind. That I mean, even on me, you know, my skin is pretty light and the colors don't show up that well. This silver goes on so smooth and it has like a metallic finish to it. And it's just a really good silver. And if you like silver eyeshadows, then you know that a good silver eyeshadow is very hard to find because they tend to be frosty with a lot of brands, and this one is more of a metallic, but it's very smooth. I really like it. So those are the Wet n Wild eyeshadow palettes from the new Crystal Cavern collection. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments section. I have some other things that I forgot to show you yesterday that were part of my Shop Miss A order, and I might, when I get a chance, I don't think I'm going to have time tomorrow, but when I get a chance, I think I'm going to do another video showing you those items too, because I really like them, and I feel bad that I forgot about those too when I did the video yesterday. So that's it for today, you guys. Thanks so much for watching and being here, and that's it. Bye-bye.